Thank you very much, Tim. All right, we've got time for a couple of quick questions for Mr. Hunter. We'll just get the microphone up the stairway. Can you just raise your hand right now if you do have a question, just so, okay, I'll come up to you, madam, shortly. Sir.
Start again. A small thought to throw into the mix. Yesterday, the word iconic came up as like creating an iconic city. You talked about transport and seamlessness of transport. You flashed up there the TransScenic, which is rated as one of the great international journeys, and you threw in the thing of cruise ships, which are getting bigger and bigger. Just seems to me there's an incredible weak link there. You go to Dunedin and you take the Taieri Gorge Railway, which is a great ride, and you can take the train from the station. There are pictures there of the trains they've got set up to take tourists from tourist ships, cruise ships, and they can put on great long rows of carriages and have 3 diesel locomotives on the front. We're bringing people in sort of chartered red buses out of basically a coal yard and through, through the tunnel. It's pretty flaky. And if you want people to be coming and staying longer and spending good dollars, I would love to see a link where people can get off a cruise ship and come in and take that iconic journey and then come back and want to stay in Christchurch a little bit longer. That's just a thought. Thank you.
Just on that, I mean, the cruise ship passengers have not got a long time with us. They typically would be disembarking about 8 or 9 in the morning and need the boats normally travel out between 5 and 6 that night. A lot of the day trip programs are controlled by inbound operators in Auckland who put those day trip programs together. I do agree with you that the Lyttelton port situation is one that is not the most attractive for visitors, but it is a functional port, and the cruise industry needs to understand that it still does not produce enough revenue to sort of change the whole bias of a port company away from some very big business to cruise, which is actually still, even though it looks big, is actually a very small business. But we do have a good ear of the port company, and we'll keep talking to them about that issue.
There is a new dedicated terminal due, isn't there, in a couple of years at Lyttelton Port?
Yes, I think the plan is to extend Cash and Quay so that you could host 2 cruise ships on the quay as well as a coal ship in the same day. But I'm not up to speed yet with the plans for a different passenger terminal, so someone could probably advise me on that. Yeah. We've got a meeting with them on Tuesday. So.
Rattle the cage, Tim.
Yeah, okay.
Righto, we'll go further up the stairs to your right, Jenny.
My question is also about transport. There's a lot of emphasis on pedestrians and light rail and cycling in the city, and you were talking about bringing buses in to the city centre for tourists. So I'm just wondering how you see the accommodation of what you feel tourists need in terms of transport into the city, and what a lot of people are envisioning in terms of other alternatives. Thank you.
I think we're quite lucky at the moment in a city that we do have not a bad pedestrian experience at all, especially if you want to walk from the square down to the museum or the Botanic Gardens or Hagley Park. I think the issue I was trying to raise for transport is that we need to get this all connected in one place. Exactly where that place is obviously got to fit with a much broader plan. It's not, I'm not saying it has to be in the square at all. I'm simply saying that if we connect all that up, it will make it easier to disperse people to where they need to go. And it just improves the convenience factor for visitors. I expect also that given the huge amount of retail that we've had in that whole inner city area, and the fact that this is now a chance to rethink that it shouldn't be too difficult to get that transport hub reasonably close to the city centre. But I'm not an expert on town planning and happy to be advised on that in terms of what was going to work. I think my point is to get it all connecting in one place.
All right, we'll just head to your left, Jenny. And take those 3 over there.
Okay, we've tried docking the ships at Brighton Pier, but I have put forward a suggestion to several people, and that is to bring the railway station back to Moorhouse Ave, connect it with the bus terminal, the bus exchange very close, and run even a light rail from that centre. So all passengers would be centred near the centre of our central business district. Therefore, they can travel, and that would also allow you to bring commuters from south and the north by rail to the bus exchange in Moorhouse Ave. I don't know how well it'll be received, but I've put it forward in several cases.
Thank you.
Hello, I have travelled quite a lot in my life, and I enjoy tasting the food of the country and having the experience of the country. And once again, I feel we've missed out the Maori influence. We haven't thought of our Indigenous people, and I think the big boats would enjoy that experience, and maybe canoeing races down the Avon. I don't know. I'm not a Maori person, but I do think we should try and give them that experience as well, and it hasn't even been mentioned.
I think the important thing there is to make sure it's really authentic, and I think we've achieved that in a number of our attractions here in Christchurch. But we've also got to think about the whole appetite for cultural experiences, and you know, visitors quite often are travelling the entire country, and they will certainly probably purchase a Maori cultural experience at some point in time. I think it's important about Christchurch that we make sure that we've got very, very good quality experiences in that area, and that we promote them well. And Kotane's done a great job at Willowbank, I must say.
You were talking about the importance of the Arts Centre.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do about the fact that the current management seem to want to change the purpose and use of those buildings, and yet are not telling the people of Christchurch what their plans are?
I think it'll be our job to ask visitors. One, there's a lot of research that's been done on the visitor experience in Christchurch, and we get some very useful insights out of a thing called the Regional Visitor Monitor. But we may well need to do some further research with visitors to really establish which parts of these experiences they find really, really, really satisfying and important. Because I think whatever we do needs to be informed by the visitor experience. And that really should hopefully guide decisions made about the Arts Centre as to how they deliver services and what services should be given more prominence. Because at the end of the day, the customer matters, and they should decide.
All right. On that note, I think we are going to have to wrap it up there. Tim, all the very best to you and your team as you get the industry back firing on all cylinders. Let's hear it for Tim Hunter.
Okay.
Cheers, man.